Hey guys, RC here. We are back and we are continuing our Dwarf Fortress tutorial. Let me jump into my folder here, and we are on Dwarf Fortress Lazy Noob Pack release 4305R08. I just updated this mid-August of this year, but this is the one we're doing a tutorial on, and that's the most current release of the Lazy Noob Pack. And in this episode, we're going to look at the world we just generated and kind of go over what it is we're seeing. Because now that it's created, before we accept or move on, this is where we want to browse around a little bit and kind of see some specific details that we won't be able to see later. So starting up here at the top, you see our little cursor here. We're controlling that using your left, right, up, and down arrow keys. So down, up, left, right. Okay. You can also click on the map. Well, actually, it's not working right now. So we will well, I know what will work is if you hit Shift and left, or Shift and right, or Shift and down, Shift and up. You see it jumps a large number of spaces. If you just hit the arrow key, it moves one grid. Shift moves several, a dozen grids or something like that. All right, so the first thing, and if you play Dwarf Fortress, this is the thing that you love, these little red pyramids. You've got one there, one here. Now we can't see the whole map here on this. We'll come down. You've got two down here. And you've got 5 over here in a cluster. Those are volcanoes. So those are actual sites that you can go to, and there will be a volcano there that you can choose to embark in that area, and that gives you access to magma at very early levels. And it's much easier to forge with magma. If you don't have magma, there are certain things that you have to have. Lignite or bituminous coal are the preferred options, or a lot of trees, because you'll be burning one wood every time you try to make do a craft at a forge. So the magma replaces that charcoal or that coal and makes that one less thing you have to worry about. So let's look at these other things. So these yellow areas, these are typically the beige hill. Now, these always change because each world is unique and self-generated. Oh, there's a volcano there too. All right, so, but we can move around. This over here is called the Hill of Webs. Okay, that's a human hamlet. So this green, like double F, that's a human hamlet. There's a human hamlet. So pretty much this area up here is going to be human. And then there's some human hamlets in here as well. And that's where you'll see a lot of roads. So this line here, these brown lines, these are all roads. Now, this little Ankh symbol, as we said in the last video, that's a dwarven settlement. So it's a hillock. Okay, very small dwarven settlement. There's a hillock. All right, now there's a fortress. You see it's bright white compared to the gray. So that's an actual fortress. Now, what's the name of our game? Dwarf Fortress. So this is a larger dwarven settlement that is part of the Mountain Kingdom. There's a hillock. There's another fortress. Now, sometimes you will find these fortresses that look dwarven in appearance, but they will say that they are goblins or something else. And that means that they have been taken over. All right, so this bright purple pie symbol, that's a dark goblin fortress. Goblins will attack you. You're always at war with goblins. There's another dark goblin fortress. Now that one could be abandoned, could have been overthrown. We don't know. Now that's this little triangle, that's a mountain range. So there's just a small mountain peak right there called the Strong Spine. And that's just right out in the middle of the woods, of this continent. And you can see these over here. This is a whole mountain range. Now you see the small triangles and then the filled in taller triangles. That's just a difference in the size of your mountain peaks. So this is your foothills. On a scale of 1 to 10, you'll probably see these in the 2, 3, 4 range. And then in the taller ones here, you'll get from the 4 up to 10 range, 10 plus. Let's see what else we can see in here. Alright, now this area here is called the Furious Dune. So if we kind of toggle around in this kind of brown area, now you notice right here it's the Amusing Forest, the Jungle of Hushing, the Elevated Cobra Forest. So we have all these little forests around here, but this Furious Dune is the name of this entire desert area with several little forest areas in it. Now keep in mind, every one of these squares is just a map zone, and you'll have multiple site selections within that zone. So there are literally thousands of sites that you can play in this game. All right. So we're just trying to get a feel for what the map looks like. So basically your green is going to be, again, if you look at the J's, the N's, this is jungle. All right, the N's, lustrous hill. All right, these are going to be your forests. All right. Okay, this blue area, human hamlets. This little 0 in the human areas, that's a tomb. So that's the tomb of a famous human that was killed at some point in our 147-year history or whatever we have. Over here we have more dwarven hillocks. More hillocks. And each one has a different name because each city has a different name. It's basically its own dwarven city. These eyes. All right, now here's one. I want to kind of come back to that. All right, the Forest Retreat, the Elven Forest Retreat. So these eyes are, these yellow areas are Elven, but the goblins are at war with everybody. So every once in a while, you'll notice that the goblins have taken over that retreat. All right, that's Elven, 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 Elven. That's a goblin there. Elven goblin. All right, and these goblins are spreading north and have a kind of foothold here. And they've taken over this retreat as well, which is a larger retreat. You can see it looks like the paragraph symbol rather than the I, the lowercase I. So that it's still a retreat, but it's going to be a larger area. These are dark goblin pits. If you watched Lord of the Rings, remember the second movie, the Two Towers? Saruman, after when he became evil and they were tearing all the trees down and dumping him into the pits that were down now below the tower. That's kind of how I picture these looking, and that's where the goblins come from when they are attacking. Now this is water, so that's river, swamps. This is going to be another dune area, so this is going to be sand, a dry desert area with a lot of sand. All right, the Crimson Murk. And again, all these are going to be different names, but you see we get up to this area and it turns into the incinerated plains. So plains, flat grassland, may or may not be any trees in that area. This is kind of odd to have jungle or jungle in the tundra area, but it's a swamp, so there's a little bit going on there, so that might be an interesting place to look at. You've got these two mountain homes down here. Those might be volcanoes here, but they're not red, so those could be dead volcanoes. I'm guessing those are not. Those are just mountain peaks, but you never know. Let's see, more purple. All right, that's a dark goblin fortress. Now this is an inland ocean here. So that's going to be an ocean area. And I'm trying to see, it doesn't look like we went far enough out for a truly evil biome to happen, but we'll be able to tell that better in the next map. All right, the Blizzard of Skirts. This is tundra, and this is polar cap. You'll actually be building on ice and freezing temperatures. So anyway, that gives you an idea kind of what you're looking at on the map. And this is where you'll want to decide, oh, well, there's too many of these volcanoes that are offshore. I want to abort this and restart, or I don't like the layout of this map, or I don't like, where the dwarves are located, or there's not enough evil areas close to dwarves where I think I'd like to be, or, all the evils down in this tundra. I really want an area with trees, but with some evil as well. This is where you make that decision. Do I abort now, or do I use the world? And if you want to go the whole 300 years, hit C and it'll start processing again, and go have a drink, watch TV, because that does take a while for 300 years. All right, well, let's say we're going to use this, so we're going to hit U, and now it's populating the world. All right, it's created our world, which is called the Destined Planet, or Namatom, and we're going to hit, we have another chance here to accept or abort. Now you can see here we've kind of gotten a little different look here. The fine details that we just looked at are now gone. All right, but we do have some other things that we can look at here. So again, there's a goblin fortress. All right, the mint forests. Now we can't tell specific details here, but like this red area, that looks like a jungle, but it's right in this tundra looking, or this plains looking area. So it's a mire. It's right on the edge of some trees, but getting into the mountains. All right, it's red. I mean, the color doesn't really mean anything, but what I'm looking for is the purple areas specifically. All right, so there's a goblin fortress, and what you will also find, let me see if I can find one right offhand here. Could have swore I saw one up here. Alright, well, I must have imagined that, or I just can't find it. Alright, again, you can see the dwarves. You really can't see the... You really cannot see the elves anymore up here. But here's some elves here. I thought something else popped up that got my attention. Where did it go? Dark Goblin Fortress. Fortress. Oh well. So anyway, it just gives you another chance to look, but basically what it's done is everything in the world is now placed. We're going to hit enter to accept, or now you can abort. You can no longer advance. You're locked in here. And this is where you would export into Legend Viewer if you wanted to look at some other things. That's going to have to be another video series, probably by somebody else, because I'm not real good at that. But that is what it is. But we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to now bring the world to life. So you can see there's 15,735 unique units in this world.
How do you get up from this, by the way? No, it's fine.
Alright, and we've got about 11 minutes left for a regular length video, so I'm going to see if let me see where we're at when we come back from this and decide if I want to put a break. I'm thinking the next piece will be site selection. Okay, well, not quite. Now we're back to our start screen. Notice now we have continue playing or start playing. Well, if we hit continue playing, well, this is my Strategic Citadel Let's Play, and this is an area that I'm doing just a self-play that I'm just to have some fun with. I'm going to back out of that. If we go to start playing, now here you choose Fortress, Adventure, or Legends mode. We're going to do Fortress. It's going to import the world now. It's loading the world we just created, because that's what we selected. And it's going to step ahead 2 weeks in time. Basically, this is the dwarves that you're going to start with are now packing up, traveling to the site, wherever that may be, and we'll get into site selection. But right now we still are just looking at the world map. So there are 3 different maps here. You have the world map, regional map, and the local map. The world map is the big map that we've been looking at all throughout this video. Okay, here's the yellow area up at the top. What you notice you don't really see on here is the purple areas and the detail specifics. The human hamlets, the elven villages. Really the only thing you can see are these dwarven settlements right here. And they're highlighted in blue. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that in the next video, but you see that. But you lose all the detail that we were looking at earlier. Then you come to your regional map. So let's just say I want to come up to this top right corner. Okay? So there's my cursor right there. Now you can see this island here is this island here. This peninsula here is right here. I cannot see, I cut off like right here. I can see the very tip of this part of the world here. I can see the inlet here, right here. And then I can see across here. And I can see this river coming out of here, right there, although I can't see it on this map. I can see this volcano, but I can't see it right there. I can see this one, but it's not on the map here, so it's farther down. So basically I come down to about here and here. So that's kind of the area that I can see on my regional map. So as you move on your world map, then you can zoom in on an area in your regional map. Okay? Now, I want to look at this volcano just to look at it. Well, and then this will be the end of this video. So that's going to be a volcano on this island. Now notice it doesn't show up here. Alright, so I'm going to come over to that volcano. So that's on this grid. Alright, now what I want you to notice is we're on this one grid. But look how big the local area is. Now we have a 4x4 area that we can look at in this area. But so it's 1, 2, 3. Basically, you have a 4x4. You have 16 different zones that you can play. So we can move using our key controls. All right. So there's one area, and then that would be a whole second area. 3, 4. Now what we're looking for is that volcano. Well, what you should see is like a little red squiggly line, and you notice we don't see it. What we see is this line here and then this line here with these tic-tac-toe symbols. These are two buildings. Alright, so let's come down to those, and you can see it has turned red, and it's called Dujanthadel. That is a fortress of some sort. Whether it is, we can't tell. It does not appear to be a dwarven settlement, so that could be and it does not appear to be elvish because it doesn't have the I in it. So I am guessing that's going to be either a human settlement or more likely a goblin settlement. All right, and we'll get into the moving around and looking at site selections, but let's try to find, I'm going to come over to this volcano, and I wonder, alright, now notice I'm on the volcano there, but here I'm slightly off center of it, so now I have to fine tune it. I'm still there even though I moved 2 squares, and look, there's that red double squiggly line. So we're going to come over to that so you can see it a little bit better right there. And as long as this is our area, this is where we would play, that caldera, that magma would be in your area of play. So what I'm guessing that means is here we can see the volcano, here we cannot. That means it is not playable because somebody has already built on top of it. That must be what that means. Now the other thing you can do is, you can come up here. Oh, I want to move up. Alright, so you can see we're on this brown road. Well, here's the road coming right through the area along the head of this river, this brook. Alright, the alley of corrupting. Alright, so again, just kind of looking at a few things. You've got the light blue lines. Those are going to be streams and brooks. All right, you've got the dark blue lines. Those are going to be minor rivers or major rivers, depending on what they are. So there's a stream. There's a minor river. Okay, now you may not have a major river in every single one. There's one I'm looking at. Okay, there's a river. It doesn't say major river, just a river, so that's going to be bigger than a minor river. These types of rivers, you will actually have to build a bridge to get from one side to the other. So if we have a play area that bisects that, like right here, to get to these two areas on the surface, we would have to build a bridge across the river. So that's what that means. Alright, let's go ahead and put a cut in here, because again, I just wanted to finish this world creation and then kind of go through what we're seeing here. Now we're going to come back in the next video. We'll go through the individual screens here that change what it is that we're looking at. So we'll do that in the next video. That'll be part of our site selection, deciding where you want to play. Let's see. Now you can see here, these are, let's see, what is that? Okay, so you can see that is a purple area. So that's goblins. Now, so they actually are this square and the next square over. Because look, it's called Nugumugo. Nugumugo. If we come over and let's go over here, look, it's still Nugumugo. So they actually cover part of this area, and they're much bigger than we can build. Now we can build a bigger area. We can expand that and make a bigger area, but the bigger your play area, the more things are going to be happening, the more items in your fortress, and that's going to affect your playability with your FPS and your lag. So 4x4 is about as big as I ever go, and they even recommend sometimes 3x3. Again, you may want to go 3x3 depending on the the power of your machine. Guys, thanks for checking it out. We'll come back in the next video and we will look at our different sites, how to pick a site, and things of that nature. Thanks for checking out this tutorial, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.